The Georgia Peanut Breeding Program is like any other breeding program in peanuts. Our objective is pretty similar: increasing dollar value return per acre, higher yields, grades, disease and insect resistance, virus and nematode resistance, drought and aflatoxin resistance, improving showing characteristics, better processing qualities, longer shelf life, and enhanced flavor and nutrition. As you can see from this list, the new variety can benefit everyone from the grower to the consumer. 8 of the new varieties we have out here, Georgia 6G, Greener, 7W, and 12Y are non-Howell Lake. The ones with the asterisk are Howell Lake, and that's 09B, 13M, 14N, and the recent one release is Georgia-16HO. Everybody's familiar, I think, pretty much with Georgia-06G. It's been the workhorse for many years now. High yield, TSW strong, TSWV resistance, runner type, large seeded, intermediate runner growth habit, medium maturity, large seeded as I mentioned, good stability across many different growing conditions, dry land, irrigated, maximum and minimum inputs, and so forth. Greener is very similar to 6G in that it's has good yield, TSWV, and a little CBR resistance, moderate CBR resistance, intermediate runner growth habit, medium maturity as well. The main difference between this one and 6G is it has a little bit smaller seed size. It's pretty well, I think, on the way out, but it was a good one for CBR areas when it was a problem. Georgia-07W is released for the white mold aspect, TSWV, and good white mold resistance. Runner growth habit, also medium maturity, and has shown good stability across many different growing conditions as well. Georgia-12Y. This is a high yielding, high TSWV and white mold resistance, probably the highest white mold resistance we got. It has a very strong peg attachment, runner growth habit, dark green leaves, medium late maturity. It's much later than 6G, but it has excellent TSWV and white mold or stem rot resistance, and good performance and stability across many environments, including reduced inputs. We've had grown it without any fungicides or insecticides, and it did quite well. I would definitely recommend it being planted early in April because of its later maturity. Speaking now to some of the Howell Lakes, Georgia-09B is a high-yielding Howell Lake TSWV resistant runner type, intermediate runner growth habit, medium maturity, similar to the recurrent parent Georgia Green. This was a back cross with Georgia Green as one parent. High level of TSWV and medium runner seed size. It has the Howell Lake, low linoleic, fatty acid composition, and a low total saturated fat characteristic goes along with the Howell Lake trait. Excellent flavor as well. In 2013, we released Georgia-13M. This is a high-yielding Howell Lake TSWV resistant runner type. Say now you definitely need a full season fungicide program. Very susceptible to leaf spot, intermediate runner growth habit, medium plus maturity, but it has performed well in dry land conditions and under minimum input. Georgia-14N. The N stands for root knot nematode resistance. This is also a Howell Lake, has good TSWV, root knot nematode, and moderate white mold resistance. Intermediate runner growth habit, medium plus maturity, medium green leaf color, and as I mentioned, high level of TSWV and root knot nematode resistance. Good performance and stability. I'd highly recommend this one for fields that are highly infected with root knot nematode. And the most recent release this past year in 2016 is Georgia-16HO, stands for Howell Lake. High yielding Howell Lake, TSWV resistant, large seeded, whereas some of the others like 13M, which is small seeded, this is a large seeded runner type, similar to 6G in seed size. Intermediate runner growth habit, medium maturity, medium green leaf color, high level TSWV resistance as well. It has also a high percentage of jumbo runner seed size. It too has performed well under many different conditions and is quite stable across many environments, especially with minimum inputs and without irrigation also. So this variety should perform well for the Howell Lake runner market. Let's look at some of the results. This table shows, our bar graphs show the 3-year average, 2014, 15, and 16 of 13 runner type cultivars. This is percent TSWV at mid-season, and you can see some of the lower percentage of tomato spotted wilt with 6G, 13M, 12Y, and then progressively going up from there to some of the others. Then towards the end of the season, we also took total disease incidence. This is also in percentage, where we started out at 2 at mid-season with TSWV. This is predominantly TSWV, but some white mold or escaped white mold hits. You can see 12Y under these conditions, one of the lowest percentage as far as disease. 13M, 6G, 14N, and then it stair steps upward. Yield, this is in pounds per acre. You can see these 4 here: Georgia-16 HO, 12Y, 6G, and 13M coming out on top as far as yield, above 5,100 pounds per acre. Grade very similar amongst 16 HO, 6G, Tough Runner 511, 7W, and 9B, Greener, and 14N. All have good grade characteristics as far as total sound mature kernel percentages. Seed size variability, you can see from this bar graph, we've got quite a range from the lowest being the largest seed size with Tough Runner 511 to the smaller seed size of 13M and 14N, small seed size. But the bottom line here is dollar value turn per acre. We're looking at Georgia-16 HO, 6G, and 13M coming out on top over these 3 years and many different tests. With that, I'll close.